You know that little voice in your head? The one that whispers, "Why bother?" or "Nobody cares what I think anymore." That's not you talking, that's years of society's noise, outdated stereotypes, maybe even well-meaning but misguided loved ones. But here's the secret: you get to hit pause on that soundtrack. Let me give you an example. My neighbor, Margaret, turned 72 last year. After her husband passed, she told me she felt like a ghost in her own life. Her kids were busy, her friends had moved away, and she'd stopped going to her book club because, in her words, what's the point? But one morning, she decided to do something radical. She grabbed a sticky note and wrote, "I am here. I matter." She stuck it on her bathroom mirror. Every day, she'd look at it and say it out loud even when it felt silly. And guess what? Slowly, she started believing it. She joined a new book club online, this time, and reconnected with her love of painting. Last month, she hosted her first art show at the local community center. The key wasn't waiting for others to validate her. It was validating herself first. So here's your challenge today: grab a notebook or even a napkin and write down one thing you're proud of. Maybe it's raising a family, surviving hard times, or finally mastering your grandma's pie recipe. Read it aloud. Every single day. Because when you start acknowledging your own worth, the world starts mirroring it back to you. Now, let's talk about your environment. Because here's the thing: if your surroundings whisper retirement home catalog, you'll feel retired. But if they shout, "This is my life," well, that changes everything. Take my friend Carl. For years, his den was a shrine to his old job: awards on the walls, filing cabinets in the corner. He told me it made him feel stuck in the past. So one weekend, he boxed up the plaques, painted the walls sunflower yellow, and turned the room into his hobby hub: model trains, jazz records, you name it. He said it felt like stepping into a new version of himself, one that wasn't defined by what he used to do, but by who he is now. You don't need a full renovation. Start small. Clear off that cluttered kitchen table and put out a puzzle you've been meaning to try. Hang up photos from that trip you loved. Or rearrange your furniture so the light hits your favorite chair just right. Your space should scream you, not the you from 20 years ago, but the vibrant, right here, right now you. Remember when you were a kid, and you'd get so lost in drawing or building forts or dancing to old records that you'd forget to eat? That's not just nostalgia, that's fuel. Passion isn't just for the young. In fact, it's one of the most powerful tools we have to stay visible to ourselves and others. Let's talk about my cousin, Elaine. At 68, she decided to take tap dancing lessons, something she'd wanted to do since she was 12. Was she nervous? Absolutely. The first class, she said her knees shook so hard she thought she'd fall over. But by week 3, she was laughing, sweating, and making friends with the youngsters in their 50s. Now, she performs at local recitals, sparkly costume and all, and her grandkids think she's the coolest person alive. Your turn. What's that thing you've been putting off because it's not practical or too late? Gardening? Learning guitar? Writing bad poetry? Do it. Sign up for a class, watch a YouTube tutorial, or just dive in. When you're engaged in something that lights you up, people can't help but notice. And more importantly, you remember how it feels to be fully alive. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what if I try all this and still feel overlooked? That's okay. Confidence isn't built in a day. But here's the truth: every time you choose yourself, your worth, your space, your joy, you're chipping away at that invisible myth. And trust me, the world is noticing. Maybe not with fireworks or fanfare, but in the way your granddaughter asks for your pie recipe, or the new friend from your art class invites you for coffee. We've covered 3 steps today, but we're just getting started. Next time, we'll tackle how to set boundaries that command respect and the surprising power of your posture. Because confidence isn't just a feeling, it's a practice. And you, my friend, are worth practicing for.